Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2. And I'm aware that I'm a little bit late on this particular topic because I've been enjoying the Monster Hunter World beta quite a bit, and I haven't really bothered to check up on news while I was playing Monster Hunter World beta because I'm that excited about Monster Hunter World. And it's interesting because where most YouTubers nowadays just like, nowadays it's been for a couple of years now, they just want to focus on the negative and just completely focus on the negative aspects of the industry. I keep saying that it's like 2017 has been one of the best years ever when it comes to video games. So yeah, there's a lot of really bad shit happening with the loot boxes and microtransactions and specifically what's happening with Destiny 2, but there's also a lot of good stuff, and I hope that I can bring more positivity than just all of these negative news. But I do feel like I gotta talk about this, particularly because Destiny is a game that I actually enjoyed playing because I got to play with you guys, and it was a fantastic experience when we were all playing together and enjoying it. And I know that I haven't been showing up in the app, in the clan. I haven't been doing anything in Destiny 2 because I've just been focusing on other stuff, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we got to talk about these issues. We just got to do it. So first of all, I'm going to start at the very beginning, and then we're going to get it all the way into the actual current the controversy, which is the whole content that was previously available now being locked behind DLC. So for starters, the first thing that I wanted to bring up when it comes to Destiny 2 is how random the progression is. Because it's like, if you want to talk about all the problems in Destiny, one of the first problems that you got to address is just how random everything is. You know, it's just like you're doing activities, and I actually like the way that the system is implemented, which is you do activities, you're always rewarded no matter what activity you're doing. That's great, that's fantastic. The problem is there needs to be ways in which you can influence the things that you are getting off of these activities. It can't just be like, hey, there's this big list of items that you can get, and you're gonna get them completely random. If that means you get the same machine gun that you don't need 6 times in a row, tough shit. Go grind some more, you know? That's not the proper way of doing things, at least in my opinion, because that's exactly what happened to me. I'm being literal here. I literally got the same pulse rifle 6 times. I think it was called the Nightshade. Yeah, I think it was something Nightshade. What I really wanted was the Midnight something. You guys know, it's the best scout rifle for PvE. It was something Midnight. I even forget its name now because I haven't played the game in so long. And I was grinding for that for ages. And I know I can create a new character and I can get it 100% guaranteed. But it's like, isn't the whole point of me playing a game, playing the character that I want to play? Like, I want to be a Titan. I want to play my Titan. And I made one mistake where I did not pick the best scout rifle in PvE when I got my character. That was the one mistake I did. And because of that, I was never able to get that scout rifle anymore. And you guys are like, why do you need that specific scout rifle? Because like I said, when I was playing, it was the legitimately just straight up, no contest, the best PvE weapon. The best. We're not talking about, oh, it was like 2% better than this. It was 5. No, it was the best. It was completely unmatched in pretty much every scenario where you're doing endgame PvE. That thing was the best weapon. Period. Okay? Then you have other things in there, like for instance the assault rifles. There was also one of those which was the best assault rifle. Then again, with the assault rifles, it was a little bit more balanced, but with that scout rifle, it's just like, just forget about it. Nothing would even compare to it. So I wasn't able to get that, wasn't able to get the assault rifle that I wanted either. But what really pissed me off wasn't even that, because I was like, that's whatever. I'll get it eventually, or maybe I'll create a new character. It's whatever. What really pissed me off was the randomness of the mods. The mods. Now, these are important because these will mess with the skills of your character. They will affect how fast your cooldowns recharge and all of that stuff. So if you really want to min-max, if you really want to make specific builds, you're going to need very specific mods. You can't get them. There. I just said, like, I think what was probably 70% of the problems that I had with the progression in Destiny. I couldn't get the mods that I wanted. And I always thought it was ridiculous. Like, I legit spent, and I say this on every Destiny 2 video that I make. It's probably getting repetitive for some people. But I spent 2 months, I mean literally 2 months of me actively playing Destiny. Just grinding for 2 mods that I wanted. 2 mods. Couldn't get them. And there was like 6 different mods that I could have gotten out of the 2 that I wanted. Couldn't get a single one. These were the mods for the, what was it called? Sunbreaker. Sunbreaker mods for, I almost forget, it was legs and shoulders? I don't know. It was 2 mods that I needed. Could not get them no matter what. And this is when I started also saying, dude, how can people say that bright engrams, actually I've been saying this from the start, it wasn't then that I started saying, I said this from the start. How can people say that bright engrams are not, do not give players an in-game advantage? If you can get mods from bright engrams. And people are like, oh, you can get tons of mods from the gunsmith. Yeah, you can. If you grind, if you spend hours and hours grinding, yeah, you can get tons of mods from the smith, like I did for 2 months, and I didn't get the mods that I needed. At that point, you could almost say that I was tempted. I was like, dude, maybe I should just get some fucking silver, buy a bunch of mods. Maybe I'll get the mods I need that way, because I couldn't get them any other fucking way. And people are like, oh, but the mods that you get are rare. And it's like, yeah, you can upgrade them into legendary. You get 3 of them, and now there's a legendary mod. And now that gives you in-game power, just legit in-game power. So yes, you can buy power through bright engrams. Sure, it's not easy, but you can get it, and it's there. And the fact that it's not easy, it's actually good for them, because you'll want to buy more and more bright engrams. So it's like, either grind like a motherfucker, or spend money and still grind like a motherfucker, but maybe grind a little bit less to get the mods that you want. So that was one of my major issues. Now let's talk about the actual problems of what the Destiny team has been doing. So the very first one that we've discovered, which is recently, well, maybe not so recent, a couple of weeks ago, was the experience throttling, where it was discovered by players that the more you played the game, the less experience you would earn for doing the same activities, up to the point where you would be getting 5% of the experience that you should be getting, which at the time, I didn't even consider the fact that you can actually buy experience boosts. Isn't that interesting? You can buy bright engrams, and with the currency that you get, or what was it? You can just straight up buy currency, right? Anyway, you can buy the currency. With that currency, you can get experience boosts, which if you then use that experience boost, your experience is still gonna get nerfed down to 5% of what it should be. Now, if you don't think that's fucked up, if you don't think that's fucked up on a fundamental level, because the worst part about this was they weren't even telling you that you were getting less experience. The game was actually telling you you were getting the same amount of experience, where in fact you were actually getting 5% of the amount the game was telling you. Now that in and of itself was fucked up. It was really fucked up. And it's like, this was something that, like I said, when I made the video the first time, this didn't even affect me. It didn't even affect me in any meaningful way, because the way that I was playing, I didn't care that much about bright engrams. I wasn't playing for the bright engrams. I was playing to try and get the actual mods, which the bright engrams helped, but I always noticed that you didn't get bright engrams on a sufficient speed, so to speak. You couldn't acquire them fast enough for them to be meaningful, so I focused my grind on other aspects of the game. However, that's not to say that there weren't players that wanted that. There were players that wanted the cosmetic stuff, like the spicy noodle emote, or the noodle where, not the noodle, the other emotes where you had the friggin' neon signs and stuff. Those were all really cool. The table flip emote, those are really cool. And it's important because Destiny 2 is an MMO. Even though they say it's not really an MMO, it's kind of like an FPS, kind of like an RPG, kind of like this co-op thing. It's kind of like Borderlands, but at the same time, it's also kind of like WoW. They dance between all of these genres. As a matter of fact, I once interviewed Deej, and he said, Bungie has always been flirtatious when it comes to genres. And I'm like, what kind of a fucked up non-response is that? But okay, whatever. So basically, a lot of people want those items, and the only way to get them without actually spending money was to grind levels. And if you were only getting 5% of the experience that you should be getting after playing for like 1 to 3 hours, which, let's face it, a lot of people play way more than 1 to 3 hours, specifically if you're like on a weekend or something. If you're on a Saturday, you're gonna grind all day long if it's your game of choice, and that's okay. I'm not criticizing. But essentially, the fact that you're only getting 5% of your experience, obviously, if you really wanted to get all of those cosmetic items, you would want to go ahead and pay the piper. And that's the reason why the experience was being throttled, because that was the only benefit to leveling up, was getting the bright engrams. So if you're throttling it, obviously you want to get people to go towards the store. And then Bungie comes and they says, oh yeah, this is a system, we put it in the game, throttling, yada yada yada. It's not working the way that we intended, we hear what you guys are saying, and we're fixing it. However, the way in which they fixed it was pretty messed up. What they did was basically, okay, you're not gonna get throttled anymore. Instead of that, we're just gonna straight up double the amount of experience required for you to level up. But they never told anybody this. They just said, oh yeah, we fixed it. We're changing experience across the board. It's fixed. That's what they said. And then players are like, wait a minute. Now it takes double the amount of experience to actually level up. And they're like, yeah, that's right. And it's like, what? So first you pull some underhanded bullshit with this experience, some really shady garbage by throttling people's experience and not telling them. And then when you supposedly fix it, you just go ahead and you increase the amount of experience it takes for everybody to level up, and you don't tell anyone. Okay. Okay, let's say you messed up again. So you messed up on the progression, which is random as fuck, doesn't make any goddamn sense. Then you messed up on the experience. I'm just even giving them the benefit of the doubt right now, okay? So you messed up on progression, you messed up on the experience you're giving players, you messed up on fixing the experience that you were giving players. And now, when the Curse of Osiris releases, you lock players out of content? Okay, so the first thing that they lock you out of was the Prestige Nightfall. This is getting fixed. I'm not sure if it's already fixed or not, but this is something that got fixed. But basically, you were locked out of the Prestige Nightfall. You couldn't do that anymore because the power level was too high. You were locked out of the Prestige Leviathan raid. Couldn't do that anymore because the power level was too high. And you were locked out of Trials of the Nine, which also caused certain trophies and achievements to no longer be achievable in Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and it's not on Steam. Oh, it's on the Blizzard thing, so I guess there's no achievements on the Blizzard thing, right? So whatever. So basically people couldn't achieve a Platinum Trophy on it anymore. I mean, I can, because I did the Prestige Nightfall back in my day. So I'm pretty much in the clear there. But it's like, this is something that they apparently did in Destiny 1 as well, except nobody complained back then, so they were like, yeah, we can get away with it again. But basically what this feels like is that Bungie, they just keep pushing the envelope a little bit. They're like, let's see how much people will take. And there's probably someone in the team, I guarantee you, there's someone in Bungie's team right now. Not right now, but like at the time that they were making these decisions, they were like, yeah, I think that's a pretty bad idea. I think we shouldn't do that. And then someone else goes in and says, has anyone complained? Have you heard anyone complain yet? No? Do it. If they complain, we'll change it back. Because I know for a fact that is how companies operate. That's exactly how they operate. It's like, nobody's complaining, we're all good. Doesn't matter, we're all good because nobody's complaining about anything, nobody's talking about it, we're good. The second anyone reports on it, engage full damage control mode. And damage control mode basically was, the Prestige Leviathan raid is going to come back down to an appropriate level so that everyone can do it. They're not fixing the Prestige Nightfall though. That's going to remain, what do they call it? A pinnacle activity. That's going to remain a pinnacle activity that's always going to be at the max light level, which I find ridiculous because you could do the Prestige Nightfall when the game came out. Why can't you do the Prestige Nightfall now unless you buy the DLC? So that's still gated behind a paywall. The regular Nightfall will be available for everyone, except in the weeks where it features a Curse of Osiris map. And I'm just like, so during those weeks, if I have the base game, I can't do the Nightfall? And the answer is yes, you can't, which I find ridiculous. Why can't you just have two separate playlists? Is it that hard? I don't think it's that hard. I have somewhat of experience in programming. Pretty sure that if you properly coded your game, separating the two instances where someone has Curse of Osiris and someone doesn't have a Curse of Osiris shouldn't be that hard. And then telling those people, hey, they don't have Curse of Osiris. This is the Nightfall for the people that don't have Curse of Osiris, and this is the Nightfall for the people that do. Oh my God, I just fixed it. I fixed the Nightfall problem. And maybe you could even do the same for the Prestige Nightfall. Just detect, oh look, this person doesn't have Curse of Osiris. I guess in order for him to do Prestige Nightfall, he's gonna have to be lower level, light level 300. Okay, well there you go. Here's a Nightfall, here's the appropriate level. You can't group with people that have Curse of Osiris because those people will have to do the other one. But if there's still a bunch of people with just a regular base Destiny, there you go. You guys can form up a group, you guys can go do your Nightfall. Done. And I know, it's segregating the community this way, but something's gotta give. You can't just take content away like that. That ain't cool. Now, beyond that, it also seems that they postponed a faction rally because apparently not everyone was going to be able to access it. Really? So if we look at all of this and we look at Bungie's reaction, it's always like they do something, community backlash, and they're like, oh, we fucked up. Oops. And that basically leads you to two scenarios. There's only two possible scenarios to this. One, they are innocent, which basically mean, and by innocent, I mean they're not doing this out of malice. And if they're not doing this out of malice and not out of getting players to actually buy their shit and buy the DLC and buy more Bright Engrams, if they're not doing it out of malice, then what they are is incompetent. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes. So if you're innocent and you're not doing any of this out of malice, your fucking team's incompetent. And I hate saying that. Or you are guilty and you are doing this out of malice, which means you're a bunch of greedy bastards. So which one is it? Are you innocent and incompetent? Or are you guilty and greedy? Why don't you guys tell me in the comment section what you guys think, because this is ridiculous. And this is a game that I enjoyed my time with it. I haven't gone back to it because I kind of feel like I got my enjoyment out of it. Like, I got more than enough enjoyment out of the game. Like, if I never played Destiny again, if I had purchased it, which I didn't because I got a review code, but if I had purchased it at $60 and gotten exactly the amount of enjoyment that I'd gotten out of it, I feel like I got my money's worth. I'm fine with that. But for the people that actually want to keep playing, the way that they're being treated, god damn, that is some fucked up shit. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you guys very much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.